Hey everybody, welcome back to Halfshelltoys and Collectibles. So the last 24 hours has been pretty crazy. We had about 14 sales that equaled up to about $600. So I think we're back in the game. I think our sales are picking back up again. I don't understand what the 48-hour slump in sales was all about, but I'm hoping that it's over. So with that being said, we've got like 14 orders to pull, so we really need to get to it today. I've got hopefully a future business opportunity that I'm meeting up with a couple of guys today. It'd be really nice to start networking with some local people. So I've got that to do this afternoon, so I need to hurry up, get these packages done so we can get on to that. So let's do it. All right, guys, we got about 15 items we need to pull real quick today so I can get going. And the first item we got to pull is an A9. It's a Star Wars figure. So let's go ahead and go out here and grab that. And I think, yeah, the bin is still out from having to pull stuff yesterday. That is right there on top, too. So that's the one we're after. And so he's in decent condition. His card's pretty flat. There's some wear on the edges and stuff, but he's in pretty good shape. He sold for $6 plus shipping, and the buyer paid $5.99 for shipping on that one. The next one we got to pull is a Sonic the Hedgehog GameCube game, and it's in S3. My GameCube games are getting really low. I've got 2 left after this one. So there's that one. It's in pretty good condition, case-wise. And it is complete with the disc. And this one sold for $45.04 plus shipping. So not a bad sale there. The next one is actually another Star Wars figure. And it's also an A9. Okay. And this is one right here. What the heck? Both sitting on top. So that kind of helps with getting this done quickly. So that's the other Star Wars figure that sold. And that one sold for a little bit more, $8.07 plus shipping. The next item we got to grab is a vintage Christmas piece, and it's a rotating Santa and Mrs. Claus music box. That's what it looks like. Really cool piece. It says it's an A43, so let's go ahead and go out and grab that. I think I listed this like 2 weeks ago, something like that, so it didn't take too long for it to sell. So here's A43. Okay. I don't think it's on this side. Nope. So, there it is right there. All right. I love vintage Christmas stuff, by the way, and some of this stuff is hard for me to sell. But this one has its original box. It is kind of, the white is kind of yellowed a little bit. So if the white was perfectly white, we could have got more for this. But it did sell for $24.64 plus shipping. The buyer paid $11.55 for shipping on that. All right, guys, so our next order we got to pull is actually 6 video games, all for the same person, as I placed a large order for video games. So let's go ahead and grab our little tub here. This is the tub that has all the small video game carts in it. So start going through these and pulling out the games here. I'm going to go into the order so I can see what each item sold for. So the first one we've got to pull is Super Mario Brothers Land for the Game Boy. That one should be pretty easy to find because I don't have very many of those. So yeah, this is it right here. The label on it's a little messed up, but it's not terrible. This one sold for $16.99. And the next one we got to grab is a PlayStation 2 game, and it's over here. I think it might be this one right here. Grandia 3. I think this might be it. Let's take it over here and see. Yep, this is it. So this is the one that sold, and it is complete with both discs. And it sold for $25.49, which is not bad. And then the next one we got to pull is a Game Boy Advance game, and this one's called Lunar Legend. And let's see here. Lunar Legend. It's hard to... I wish there was a better way to store these things so you can grab them quickly, but there it is, Lunar Legend. And this one sold for $32.99, and the cart is in amazing condition. So the next one that sold was Golden Sun, The Lost Age for Game Boy Advance. So, yep, there it is right there. So there is that one. It's in great condition also. And this one sold for $33.99. The next one we got to grab is another Game Boy game, and it's Super Mario Land 2. And that one's right there. It's in great condition as well. And it sold for $16.99. So the next one and the last one is a Wii game. This is the first Wii game I've sold in a long time. And it's Super Paper Mario for the Wii. And it is right here. I probably could have got more for this one too, but it's got some damage on the case. But I believe it does have its manual. Yeah, that has its manual. And this one sold for $12.74. So like I said, we could have got more for it, but because of the condition of the case, we couldn't ask a higher price. So that whole order came to with shipping, which I will reimburse some of the shipping for this because he paid shipping on every single item, which is stupid. But the total was $182.89 with shipping. Without shipping and all the fees and stuff, we're sitting at $158.47. So after shipping, I should be able to profit. I'll clear about $150 on that lot. So that's pretty decent. All right. So the next items we got to pull is a toy. It's actually a Halo toy. So I put these back. So this Halo toy didn't go for very much. Some of them don't. The more modern ones, they don't go for a whole lot. So this one is an A34. All right, A34 right here. I got some room in these bins to list more toys, that's for sure. That's not it. At least I don't think it is. Maybe it is. That might be it. Let's get in here and see. The Grunt Mule. Yep, that's it. That's the one we got to pull. So it's brand new in package. I think this is from like 2002. Not 2002. 2022. 2021. So it is not very old, but it sold for $7 plus shipping. The buyer paid a total of $9.25 for shipping. We won't use all of that, so we'll probably profit about exactly $7 on this after fees, which is perfect. That is just fine with me because the lot that came out of has been paid for. So it's pure profit. All right, so the next one we got to pull is actually a wrestling figure, and he is an A3. It's actually John Cena. I need to put away some of these totes here pretty soon. All right, so A3 is right here. This is a heavy one. All those loose figures in here. All right, yeah, there he is right there. That was easy. All right. So that's John Cena. Loose figure, just the figure. And he sold for $7.64 plus shipping. Buyer paid $5.99 for shipping. That lot is not paid off yet. That was a recent lot that I just got a couple weeks ago. So, but we're starting to sell stuff from that lot almost every day, which is nice. All right, the next one is also a toy, and it is a Kenner Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it's Indiana Jones himself, and he is an A41. All right, guys, I got him pulled. Got the other totes put away out there. So this is the Indiana Jones figure that sold. He's been on card, and he's from... this is pretty new, too. I don't see the date. Actually, the date is covered up with a sticker. So, but I think this was like 2021, 2022, around in there somewhere is when these came out. And he sold for $12.74. He came from the same lot as John Cena. So it's nice to see that stuff starting to leave so we can get that lot paid off. The next item we got to pull is an A1, and it is 2 vintage sing-along blow mold Christmas lights. And these things are really cool. And they work. So here's a picture of our eBay ad. It shows the lights working, and these went for a lot. And I took an offer because I've had these listed for, this would have been the second Christmas season that they've been listed. So they're up here in A1 at the top. And anybody need McDonald's Boo Buckets? I got tons of them. They're the newer ones, but for some reason, when I see them for 50 cents or $1 at thrift stores, I can't help myself. I got to buy them. So, which is probably a bad idea, but I can't stop myself. So here are the Santa sing-along lights. They're just like 2-inch blow mold Santas, and they're string along. I thought that said sing along. They're string along. So, which means you can put more than one of them together. So they don't sing. So I read that wrong. Make sure the ad says string along and not sing along. It does. It says string along. Okay, so both of these, there's 20 Santas per set. So 40 Santas total. And the person paid $46 plus shipping for these. They paid $17.15 for shipping. So we'll probably use, I don't know, about half of that for this. So the other half of the shipping will go towards our total earned for that. So not a bad sale. I think I originally started with those at $80. Then I slowly kept coming down. And then I had them down to like $52. And then this person offered $46. I was like, yep. Rather than be gone, I think I pay like $1 a piece for them at a yard sale. So yeah, I'll take $46 for them. So the next one we need to pull is another action figure, and it is in A41. And I believe this is the last item we got to pull. So A41, it's way up top. Way up top, and it's a full tote. And man, guys, I think it's over here underneath all this stuff. Watch it be the very last. Watch it be the very last one in this stack. I wouldn't be surprised. There he is. I'll come back and put that stuff away later. All right. This one is also from the same lot as John Cena and the Indiana Jones. And it's Flash. And this is from the McFarlane Toys Superpowers re-release stuff. And this one was made in... Geez, where are the dates on these things? That is crazy. I do not see a date on this toy anywhere. Unless it's so small that I'm just not seeing it. I am getting older, so... But these came out very recently, too. Like, within the last couple of years as well. So, and he sold for $16.14. I'm going to have to start a spreadsheet for that particular lot and start adding all these items up to see where we're at. So I think we paid like $375 for the lot. We still have about half a table of stuff we haven't listed yet, but the majority of it is listed. So yeah, and we pulled what, 1, 2, 3 items today. And I think I pulled like 2 or 3 items yesterday from that lot. So that's great. So that is the last item that we have to pull for our orders today. I have 3 more items sitting over here on the table that I pulled last night that sold late yesterday. So if those were over here, we'd have a pretty good sized table of stuff that we have to list. Not list, but ship. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this one today. The table behind me is pretty full, so we've got to ship that stuff out here real quick. But that's not a bad looking table for the last 24 hours. Some of these items were in our last video, but technically this is all the stuff that we sold since this time yesterday. So, and it came in at just shy of $600. So I'm really thankful for that. I know my wife's really thankful for that. It's great to see our store being really successful, help ends meet, and it's just a great feeling. So until next time, guys, take it easy.